On September 5th, 2025, the monster truck community was devastated to learn of the death of Dan Runte following a major accident. His passing occurred during the celebrations for Bigfoot's 50th anniversary, casting a shadow over the event. It would become the worst tragedy the community had faced since Scott Hartsock's passing. Dan Runte was a legend in his time and became one of the greatest Bigfoot drivers. His iconic stunt involved him jumping over a grounded plane, which the truck jumped over at high altitudes. Dan Runte was an inspiration to many fans who grew up watching the oldest monster trucks compete and make huge memories. One of those monster trucks is Bigfoot, the world's first monster truck. Dan Runte was a legend, just like Dennis Anderson, Tom Mentz, and many others who had their first taste of these machines. Dan Runte was admired for his skill and passion. We at Monster Jam New Generation will attempt Dan Runte's iconic plane jump stunt as a tribute to him. This event will mark both his legacy and the grand opening of Rainbow Stadium. What you are seeing here is a brand new track with brand new obstacles as well as more open space for our trucks to handle. We may not have a plane, but we do have an army of Bigfoots. It may not look like an army, but we're working with what we got so far, as these are the bravest Bigfoots that will participate in this stunt. Coming all the way from Series Red, we have John Hopkins, driver at Bigfoot of Monster Jam New Generation. He will attempt the impossible. We got a good view of the track. John Hopkins will attempt the first stunt of the new track. He is already down there. Let's get it going. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, he has done it. The first successful stunt of the track. There he is on the side, very close to the edge of the track right there. And here is a good view of what he has done on the new track. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure as I, Rainbow X, declare Rainbow Stadium now open. Rainbow Stadium is now the new home of Monster Jam New Generation, as we are hoping to make brand new memories right here on the track. Coming up next for the first official event at Rainbow Stadium, we have round 2 of Series Green of the regular season coming up right after this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
After the Dan Runte tribute stunt that kick-started the grand opening of Rainbow Stadium, the trucks are out here and finally ready to race on the new track. This right here is Series Green. We are ready to start the second round. We have a lot of fan favorites as well as some interesting ones here. We have Northern Nightmare, Harley Quinn, Jurassic Attack right at the backside. Right in the distance, there's the Slicer, Sparkle Smash, Ice Cream Man, Superman, Max D, Son of a Digger, Faster Van, Recreation, and more coming along your way, as well as the Biker Zombie, who is the winner of the previous round. Will he be able to defend his title in this second round? We're about to find out. Here are your point standings. Nicolas Burns in the Biker Zombie is the one to look out for. And we also have Abigail McQueen, Caden Wilson, Jake Hopkins, Aiden Garcia, John Hartsock, Ryan Anderson, Jamie Sullivan, James Wilson, and Liam Cunningham, all in order. And as we take a look at the other half of the standings, we have Christine Lauritsen, James Harper, Isaac Holland, Etsumi Kocho, Holly Davis, Preston McCoy, Isaac Andrews, Dalton Widener, Hunter Craddock, and Alvaro Falco. Hunter Nira Theory, that is an error. That should say Hunter Craddock. But yeah, I am referring to Hunter Craddock for Overkill Evolution. And now let's take a look at the tournament bracket for the second round of the regular season of Series Green. As you can see, we have lots of changes as well as some good matches ahead of you. And we are ready to kickstart the very first match coming along your way. But before that, here's a look at the track view for the first event at Rainbow Stadium. It's a pretty simple track setup. You got 4 jumps, one at the beginning and one towards the end, as well as a center pod and some crush cars. So you may want to be very careful at where you land when it comes to these jumps. And to kickstart our very first match at Rainbow Stadium, it is Isaac Holland in the Fire Max D versus Christine Lauritsen in Harley Quinn. And they're ready to go. Down to the track they go. You can see Max D already in the lead, but you can see Christine catching up, but Isaac crashes over, and you can see him performing a wheelie save. And there is Christine Lauritsen right at the end of the track. We're going to take a look at the replay. Our very first race at Rainbow Stadium, looking pretty good so far. A lot of open space for our trucks to wander around. You can see the win goes to Isaac Holland in the Fire Max D, and he will move on to the next round. Next, we have Preston McCoy in Recreation facing Holly Davis in Wonder Woman. And they're ready to go down the track, both of them neck and neck. Recreation sky high, and there he goes. He crashes, but he also lands with a wheelie save and with a win as well. And Holly Davis remains behind, as you can see her right on top of the crush cars. Let's take a look at the replay. You could see Preston with a high jump, and there he goes. He crashes, but he makes a perfect save, a wheelie save just like Isaac Holland, and will move on to the next round. Next, we have Ryan Anderson in Son of a Digger, who will face the previous winner, Nicolas Burns, in the Biker Zombie. And they're already down to the track. Ryan Anderson in the lead, but it looks to be he's losing control, and Nicolas Burns will take over and take the win against Ryan Anderson. Seems like Ryan is not on his game in this track. Don't know what's going on, but let's take a look at the replay. You could see Nicolas Burns catching up, and you could see Ryan, he hits the ramp but did not make it as he lands upside down. It's not where you want to be on this new track. And for the final race of the first round, we have Etsumi Kocho and Wildflower facing John Hartsock and Slinger. And they're ready to go down the track. John Hartsock in the lead so far, but look at Etsumi Kocho. She pushes over her opponent, and there she crosses the finish line. I don't know what's going on there, but so far, people are loving the new track just to see the open space. But you can see John Hartsock having the lead, but Etsumi pushes him over, and she steals the win from him. That is a strategy that people need to look out for. And for the first round, it is already complete. You can see the 4 winners moving on to the next round. Max D, Fire Max D facing Bad News Travels Fast, Recreation facing Iron Outlaw, Biker Zombie facing Sparkle Smash, and Wildflower will face Faster Van in the second round. This will be a tight race, so we'll see who will move on to the next. For this one, we have Caden Wilson and Mossmart Rottweiler facing Abigail McQueen in Northern Nightmare. And they are ready to go down the track. You can see Caden Wilson, and look at that sky high big air moment from Abigail McQueen. And I didn't even see that Caden Wilson won, but let's take a look at the replay just to analyze that big air. You can see Caden Wilson, he did get the lead, but look at that big air from Abigail McQueen. She crashes, but she managed to pull off some insane air. We do have an image. Look at how high that is. That is probably going to be the biggest air of the night. Abigail McQueen for high jump for World Finals, who knows? We'll have to see and wait and find out. Speaking of which, Fire Max D will face Bad News Travels Fast. Let's see. They're ready down to the track. You can see Bad News Travels Fast in the lead, but Fire Max D catches up. Bad News Travels Fast crashes over to the center pod, and Max D looked like they crossed the finish line. We're going to check out the replay. You can see both of them neck and neck with each other. Big air, but also look at Max D close to the finish line, and we do have a photo shot. Our drones are not working this time, so we're just going to settle with the photos. And Fire Max D will definitely cross the finish line and move on to the quarterfinals.
For the next race, we have Isaac Andrews and Iron Outlaw, who will face Preston McCoy in Recreation. And they're down to the track, and you can see Iron Outlaw struggling, but you can see Preston McCoy with some big air, just like Abigail McQueen, and he will cross the finish line. Not she, but he will cross the finish line. Let's check out the replay. As you can see here, Preston, a little bit of a struggle, but he manages to catch up. Isaac, though, don't know what happened to his truck, but Preston will move on. And we move on to the next race. We have Alvaro Falco and the Slicer facing Dalton Widener and Jurassic Attack. And you can see both of them neck and neck. The Slicer already in the lead, but you can see them struggling. Dalton Widener collides to the ramp, and look at that incredible landing that he did there. But the Slicer will move on to the next round. Let's analyze this with a replay. You could see the Slicer struggling a little bit. He catches up, crashes over, but he makes a perfect save. And look at Dalton Widener in the background. That is a save I did not expect, and I have never seen in a long time. For the next race, we have James Harper and Ice Cream Man, who will face Hunter Craddock in Overkill Evolution. This is Hunter's first appearance onto the track. You can see him making a big difference there. And Ice Cream Man, I don't know what's going on, but Hunter Craddock will cross the finish line. Hunter is making a good impression on his first appearance of Monster Jam New Generation. You can see in the replay that James Harper, though, not a good landing for him as he crashes very early on, but Hunter will move on. Next up, we have Nicolas Burns in the Biker Zombie facing Jamie Sullivan in Sparkle Smash. And they're ready to go. Jamie Sullivan in the lead, neck and neck, about to overtake the leader, but you can see the body comes up from Biker Zombie, and they will cross the finish line. And was that a front flip attempt by Jamie Sullivan? Let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, you can see she almost lands a perfect front flip, but she crashes onto the center pod right on the crush cars, and there goes the body from Biker Zombie. For the next race, we have James Wilson in Faster Van, who will face Etsumi Kocho in Wildflower. And they're ready to go. James Wilson in the lead right there. Faster Van getting a big, and what the heck was that? What was that? I did not see this coming. Let's take a look at the replay. I was more focused on Etsumi, but look at James Wilson. What a save, and a wheelie too. That has got to be the best wheelie I've ever seen on this track. And for the last race of the round of 16, it's Liam Cunningham and Gas Monkey Garage, who will face Jake Hopkins and Superman. And they're already neck and neck, both of them together at the same time. And look at Superman almost attempting the same thing as Jamie Sullivan, but Gas Monkey Garage crosses the finish line, but people are saying he landed outside the track. Let's take a look at the replay just to see. Look at Superman. They attempted a front flip. I believe that was successful, but he crashes into the center pod. But look at Gas Monkey on the bottom. I don't know if you can see it, but we do have a photo. This is where he landed. He did not fall off the track, so therefore he will move on to the quarterfinals. We still have that off-track rule, so things will change when it comes to the new track. And speaking of which, for the new track, lots of great results, as well as some perfect saves, some great comebacks, as well as some crazy performances from these drivers. We have Mossberg Rottweiler, Fire Max D, Recreation, the Slicer, Overkill, a Biker Zombie, Faster Van, and Gas Monkey moving on to the quarterfinals. And for the first quarterfinal match, it is Caden Wilson and Mossberg Rottweiler facing Isaac Holland and Fire Max D. And they're ready to go side by side. Fire Max D looks like they struggled. Caden Wilson overtakes them, but look at that wreckage between the Caden Wilson and Fire Max D. And Caden Wilson will take the win, but let's check out the replay just to analyze what's going on. So Fire Max D looks like they struggled, but look at Caden Wilson. He does cross the finish line, and it looks like the two are just going to face each other. You know, two friends from Georgia, the Georgian drivers are just meeting up. They finally get to race each other for the first time. Good luck to one of them. We have Preston McCoy in Recreation facing Alvaro Falco and the Slicer. And they're ready to go side by side. Alvaro in the lead, but look at Preston. He catches up. What the heck happened to the Slicer? He lands sideways, aerial sideways. I don't know what happened. Let's check out the replay. Take a look at the Slicer. What? I've never seen something like that. But Preston McCoy does cross the finish line, therefore he'll move on to the semifinals. Then we have Hunter Craddock in Overkill Evolution facing Nicolas Burns in the Biker Zombie. Hunter has been doing pretty good recently. Can he keep it up? And there's the body comes off from Biker Zombie, and Biker Zombie will move on, but Hunter Craddock also lands at the finish line. Let's take a look at the replay. You could see that Hunter Craddock tried to catch up, but look at Nicolas Burns. The body comes off, and they cross the finish line. They move on to the semifinals. Look at that photo. The biker zombie body comes off, landing on top of Faster Man. Hopefully that doesn't do anything to them. Next, for the last one, we have James Wilson against Faster Van, who will face Liam Cunningham in Gas Monkey Garage. Don't know what's wrong with my English, but you can see Faster Van already in the lead. And what the heck is that? Another one! Another one from James Wilson! What kind of save was that? Let's take a look at the replay, but look at this! What? How do you even... What? I'm at a loss of words, but Gas Monkey loses, but Faster Van moves on. Look at this. He lands upside down. He makes a perfect save. He lands it, but he lands sideways, and he barrel rolls to the finish line. What was that? But, okay. Alright, so we got the semifinals. Caden Wilson in Mossberg Rottweiler, Preston McCoy in Recreation, Nicolas Burns in the Biker Zombie, and James Wilson in Faster Man, all moving on to the semifinals. This will be a great race, or great semifinals, as we have two previous ones going against new ones. Caden Wilson and Mossberg Rottweiler facing a newbie, Preston McCoy. In the semifinals, you can see Caden Wilson already in the lead, but look at Preston McCoy. He catches up, and what a great save by Caden Wilson. And as soon as I say that, he barrel rolls, so I guess that I spoke too soon. You can see Caden Wilson tries to catch up, but look at Preston avoiding those jumps, and he does cross the finish line. I believe so. I think we do have a photo finish. Yup. It is going to be Preston McCoy moving on to the final for the very first time of his career, and Caden Wilson unfortunately will not be able to make it. Who will join Preston McCoy? Will it be Nicolas Burns or will it be James Wilson? I'd love to see one of these two moving on. And see James Wilson already in the lead. Look at that incredible air, and look at that save, and he does make it. Nicolas Burns also crosses the finish line, and I think, what was that? I think I saw a truck fall off the track. We're gonna have to analyze this from the replay. I don't know if that was foul play by Nicolas Burns, but look at that distance by Faster Van. Look at the crazy wreckage. But yeah, he does cross the finish line. And pay attention to the right side of your screen. Did you see that? I believe he pushed James Wilson off to the side. I think you're going to see, yep, there you can see the tire right there. Caden Wilson's not happy about that, seeing Nicolas Burns pushing his brother to the side. Despite crossing the finish line, or despite crashing to the side, Faster Van will still move on to the next round as he crossed the finish line first before he crashes outside the track. And he will face Preston McCoy. The two are ready. The first final of the new at the new track. Both of them side by side. This is going to be a crazy match. Will it be Preston McCoy in Recreation of Tomfoolery Motorsports, or will it be Team Fantasy with James Wilson behind the wheel of Faster Van? Which one of these trucks will win? Will it be James Wilson or will it be Preston McCoy? One of these two is about to win or pick up their first win. Who will it be as they are down to the track? James Wilson already in the lead. You can see Preston McCoy struggling. James Wilson tries to attempt the impossible, but no! I don't think that was enough. And I think Preston McCoy stole the win. Let's check out the replay. You can see Preston catching up. As soon as James Wilson wrecks, Preston catches up. And with that, ladies and gents, Recreation is your second winner of Series Green. First it was the Biker Zombie, and now it's Recreation. Nicolas Burns has been dethroned and replaced with Preston McCoy of Tomfoolery Motorsports will win at this event at the new stadium. Preston McCoy positioning on top of the truck on the center pod. Go outside and play is the slogan for Recreation. Look at that. Big win for Preston McCoy, but also a good attempt by James Wilson. Let's take a look at our standings. Nicolas Burns, despite the loss, he still remains in first place, followed by Caden Wilson in second. Preston McCoy jumps from, I believe, from the bottom all the way to third place. Then we have James Wilson and Faster Man, Abigail McQueen, then Jake Hopkins, Aiden Garcia, Liam Cunningham, Isaac Holland, and Jamie Sullivan all in the top 10. potentially getting ready to qualify for World Finals, but it is still too soon to call as we move on to the second half of the standings. James Harper from Ice Cream Man now is in 11th place. Hunter Craddock now moves to 12th, and then we have John Hartsock in 13th, Ryan Anderson in 14th, Alvaro Falco in 15th, Atsumi Kocho escapes the relegation zone at 16th. And in our relegation zone, we have Christine Lauritsen, Isaac Andrews, Dalton Weiner, and Holly Davis. Again, it is too soon to call to determine which one of these trucks will be relegated and who will qualify for World Finals. After a successful grand opening of Rainbow Stadium, we are happy to make some brand new memories here at this new track. Loads of performances from drivers from around the series, as well as some crazy saves, as well as some unexpected moves from our drivers, and a lot of crazy stuff going on, and it's absolute insanity, and people will love it. With this, we're going to conclude things off here of Series Green, and this will be a crazy season following the new track. I will be very excited for that. With this, we're going to conclude things off here. This is Rainbow X, and we will see you on the flip side, where we will continue on the regular season as Series Yellow.